If you think Morgan Freeman has lived a life of constant fame and ease, you're missing the truth beneath the surface. Behind that calm smile and unforgettable voice is a story of quiet struggle, patience, and relentless perseverance. His journey was not a straight line from talent to recognition. It was a long, uncertain road filled with setbacks, rejections, and years of being overlooked. This is not a tale of scandal or dramatic reinvention. It is the story of a man who kept believing in his dream even when the world seemed to refuse him entry. His life proves that greatness is not only born from talent, but also from endurance, holding on to a dream long after it should have been forgotten. Childhood in Mississippi. Growing up. Under limitations. Born in 1937 in Mississippi, Morgan Freeman's early years were shaped by poverty and segregation, realities that made his dream of acting seem almost impossible. The environment offered few opportunities to a young black boy, and the world around him rarely encouraged ambition. Families struggled to survive, schools were underfunded, and the idea of a future in the arts was treated like a fantasy. He moved often, living with relatives and in cramped spaces, learning early that stability was fragile. But within him, a dream took root. Quiet, distant, and stubborn. Even in the midst of hardship, he developed a deep ability to observe people, noticing subtle expressions and emotions that would later become the foundation of his extraordinary acting. The first glimpse of acting. A small stage, a big awakening. Morgan's first taste of acting came not on a grand stage, but in a modest school setting, an unglamorous space where he discovered the freedom to become someone else. For a child surrounded by limitations, acting offered a rare escape and a new way to experience the world. It gave him a sense of purpose and belonging, a feeling that contrasted sharply with the restrictive environment around him. Yet life demanded practicality, and formal training or industry connections were nowhere to be found. For a time, survival took priority and the dream was set aside. But the seed had been planted, and the feeling of being truly alive on stage never fully disappeared. Service and self-discovery. Choosing the harder path. As a young man, Morgan enlisted in the Air Force, believing it was the path he was supposed to follow. He worked hard, trained diligently, and committed himself to the expectations placed upon him. Yet deep inside, he realized he was living someone else's story, not his own. The dream he had tried to bury kept returning in quiet moments, reminding him of who he truly was. Eventually, he made a bold decision that surprised those around him. He left the stability of the military to pursue acting. It was not an impulsive choice, but a decision rooted in stubborn hope and conviction. He understood that the life he wanted might not exist unless he dared to chase it, even without guarantees. Early struggles in Hollywood, rejection as a constant companion. Returning to acting, Morgan faced the harsh reality that Hollywood rarely opens doors for those who don't fit its expectations. He spent years in small theaters, taking low-paying jobs, struggling to pay rent, and living in constant uncertainty. Casting directors overlooked him, labeling him as too old, too serious, or simply not what they were looking for. Roles went to others, opportunities slipped away, and rejection became routine. Yet he continued, not because he wanted fame, but because acting was his language, his way of expressing life. It was more than a career. It was a calling. Each setback only strengthened his resolve, and he refused to let the world's indifference silence his passion. Observing, learning, and enduring. Turning pain into craft. Morgan's struggles were not wasted. Every audition, every small role, and every setback became part of his training. He learned to read people, understand motivation, and channel emotion with authenticity. Life's hardships became his artistic toolkit. Poverty, social limitations, and repeated rejection weren't obstacles to talent. They were teachers. Each small theater performance, each overlooked audition, each barely scraping by paycheck added depth to his craft. By observing the world and enduring its challenges, he developed a presence and a voice that would later demand attention. The years of struggle shaped him into an actor whose authenticity could not be ignored. Rediscovering the dream. Persistence. Through the middle years. Even in his 30s and 40s, Morgan still lacked the recognition he deserved, but he refused to abandon his dream. While many of his peers settled into conventional lives, buying homes, starting families, or building stable careers, he remained in small apartments, working for minimal pay, and facing the relentless pressure of an industry that hadn't yet embraced him. The dream that had sustained him since childhood persisted, growing quietly in his mind. He faced the same doubts that would have defeated many others. What if it never works out? What if my time has passed? But quitting was never an option. Acting was essential to who he was, not simply something he did. The stage and recognition, small victories, big meaning. Morgan's first meaningful recognition came through stage work and early television roles that were far from glamorous. These early opportunities brought visibility but did not erase financial insecurity or emotional strain. Personal life became complicated under the weight of constant work and modest income. Every step forward was a hard-fought victory, often lonely and emotionally demanding. Still, his dedication remained unshakable. Even when doors closed, he refined his craft, waited patiently, and continued to build the resilience that would define his career. The slow progress was not discouraging. It was building a foundation. Breaking through. The world finally notices. Eventually, Morgan's persistence began to pay off. His stage performances and minor television roles showcased a talent that could not be ignored. He was different from what Hollywood expected, but that difference became his strength. With each role, the world began to notice, not through instant fame, but through gradual recognition that could not be denied. His performances radiated authenticity and depth, qualities that audiences sensed even when studios hesitated. The long wait had shaped him into an actor whose presence carried weight, and his voice became a symbol of quiet authority and emotional truth. Late blooming success. Triumph. After decades of waiting. It wasn't until his 50s that Morgan Freeman's career truly flourished. Landmark films such as Driving Miss Daisy, Glory, and Lean on Me finally brought the recognition he had earned over decades. But even then, the victory was tempered by the long years of waiting. Success arrived late, but it arrived because he refused to surrender his dream. His rise was not meteoric, it was earned through consistent excellence and quiet determination. He never compromised his vision of himself as an actor. His story shows that late success is not lesser. It is often deeper, harder won, and more meaningful because it is built on endurance. Triumph and reflection. Wisdom. Born from endurance. At 88, Morgan Freeman embodies both the serenity of accomplishment and the quiet reflection of someone who has walked a long, difficult path. His life offers lessons in patience, resilience, and steadfast commitment. The tragedies he faced were not sensational headlines, but everyday challenges of being unseen, undervalued, and underestimated. The beauty of his story lies in how he transformed those experiences into strength, craft, and authenticity. He shows that true greatness is not only talent recognized early, but talent preserved over time through struggle and uncertainty. The true legacy, a testament to perseverance. Morgan Freeman's legacy is not only in his films or narrations, it is in the example he sets for anyone pursuing a dream against the odds. His life illustrates that success is not linear, that recognition can arrive late, and that perseverance is more powerful than talent alone. It teaches that the path may be long, uneven, and lonely, but staying true to your vision ultimately leads to fulfillment. Morgan Freeman did not merely become a legendary actor, he became a testament to endurance, patience, and quiet determination. The human behind the icon, a man of real struggle. Despite decades of public acclaim, Morgan Freeman remains profoundly human. He has faced rejection, doubt, financial insecurity, and personal hardship. He has endured societal limitations, professional biases, and the weight of expectations. His life reminds us that even those who appear unshakable carry burdens, and that even voices that inspired generations were once silenced by circumstance. The calm, commanding presence audiences admire is built upon years of learning, observing, and enduring. Every pause, every inflection, every subtle expression reflects a deep well of experience. The power of perseverance. Dreams deferred, not denied. Morgan Freeman's story is ultimately a celebration of perseverance. It shows that dreams deferred are not dreams denied, that obstacles can be transformed into strength, and that true achievement is measured not by speed but by durability. Through decades of struggle, he learned that acting was not simply a career, it was the expression of a soul unwilling to be silenced. His journey demonstrates that the road to success may be long, but steadfastness and integrity create results that last far beyond fleeting recognition. The enduring inspiration. A life that still speaks today. Morgan Freeman stands as both inspiration and the quiet tragedy of a talent that the world took decades to fully embrace. His story is one of patience, resilience, and enduring hope. It reminds us that age does not limit potential, that late success is no less meaningful, and that the human spirit can persist even when circumstances seem impossible. He teaches that struggles do not diminish worth, they deepen it, shape character, and create a resonance that early success rarely achieves. Conclusion: a life defined by quiet strength. At 88, Morgan Freeman remains a figure who embodies wisdom, patience, and profound human understanding. The world knows his voice, his presence, and his extraordinary talent, but the most important lessons lie in the decades of perseverance that preceded recognition. He endured hardships, waited for opportunities, and never allowed rejection to extinguish his passion. His life is a testament to resilience, self-belief, and the power of holding on to dreams even when the world seems to say they are impossible. Morgan Freeman's journey is more than a legend. It is a lesson, a reflection, and a deeply human story that continues to inspire.